top of your prospective wish list last year?
The number one thing is the competitive nature. Very competitive guys, athletic, have a passion to play, and that's big. Guys that really love to compete. When you watch them play, you can see it in the tape, and they have a really good skill set. Jermaine is physical, has a knack for the ball, plays with a high level. He's a confident guy. Calvin, good frame, good structure. Calvin is 190 pounds right now. He's a track guy, 600 meters. So he has the physical attributes to make an impact. And then because he's more physically, ready than some high school guys. And again, the competition, they're really good kids, both of them. Elite athletic ability. Hard workers, so that's the kind of guys you want to make sure you start to get in the program, and I really like both of those.
I know there was some discussion with Calvin about enrolling early, and he ultimately decided against it. What's your job as a coach in that conversation? Because clearly you want to have more depth here in the spring, and
right.
It's a benefit for him to get here and start learning, but it's still a chance to be a high school senior.
Yeah, he wanted to, and then he's a track guy, so he's running track there, and he's an elite sprinter. He went 10.6 last year, so I'm sure he's looking to try to go 10.5 and have a chance to finish up strong. So it's my job now to bridge the gap with the knowledge and the learning, before he gets here. But he wanted to finish up with that experience, and we'll try to make sure we catch him up as soon as possible. But he's physically gifted a little bit, so he won't be as far behind with some things.
How are you able to work with him now? I mean, you guys doing Zoom calls?
Yeah, we'll Zoom call. We'll do things like that to catch him up, to make sure he's on pace. Obviously, it's not like being here, but at least, mentally, he'll be able to try to be up to speed as much as possible. And then when the summer comes, we'll get going on it a few weeks to try to make sure he's in good shape before we start camp.
You said Jermaine has a knack for the football. It looks like he plays offense on defense. Is that a real thing for a corner?
Yeah, some guys can naturally track the ball, can naturally go get the ball. He does that, man. He's comfortable with playing the ball in the air. Instincts, some people call football, get it. He just has it. He has that it factor of playing the game. So now, go develop it, groom it, get it ready for the next level, because it's a different step. But he has a natural confidence and a natural knack for the ball, and being able to be a football player. So I'm looking forward to working with him.
Can you coach those guys differently, or do you coach everybody the same?
You got to coach everybody differently. Because some people are more natural at things than others. Like I said, you can tell he's a high production guy in high school. So playing the ball in the air, the balance and body control when the ball is in the air, judging the flight of it, you have to have a natural confident first to do that. Now we can tweak the techniques and do it, because you got to be in the right position, but it has to be a comfort level, because they're throwing the ball to the receiver, not to you, so you have to be able to torque your body and things down the field to be able to go make a play on the ball or get it knocked down. He has a little knack for that, so I look forward to working.
And what have you seen from him so far?
Great, good kid, works hard. It's still early,
yeah.
So he's just getting here, but works hard, excited to learn, like I said, competitive. Great personality, so I'm looking forward to it.
Tim, entering spring, what's kind of the pecking order at corner with some of the returning guys like Denzel, Jordan, Jair? Just kind of get into the pecking order if you have one.
Right now, no pecking order now. Denzel is really the only true returning starter that we have right now. What we got to do now, we got to create a competition. We got to open this thing up, competition, let guys go earn jobs and go play and go compete. That's what it's about. So we'll try to make sure we move guys around, because we got to make sure they're in the right spot, and we got to make sure the competition is right, and guys are in the right spot with stuff. So that's what we'll try to take a look at this year.
There was a announcement yesterday. I don't know if it's official yet. Can you address a new addition to the room or not?
Can't do it.
Okay. Let me ask you in a very general way.
He's trying to get you in trouble.
How important is it to get a veteran guy in the room that could be potentially a plug-and-play guy?
But it's always good to get guys, to upgrade the room. So going through the recruiting process, is at the level that we're at here, is like the NFL. You're always trying to get the elite guys in the country here because of the competition that you're going to be playing, and the expectation that's here. So during the recruiting process, we're trying to get the best guys in the country to make sure the room is deep, make sure the room is always upgraded, and make sure we keep the competition good. Just because, with numbers low and things happen during the season, you want to have guys ready to go and ready to step in.
Okay, that's one general question. You see this all the time. What is so hard about getting guys to turn their head towards the ball?
You got to be a natural thing with it. That's the all level things. You see it in the NFL, you see it in college. That's a thing that you just got to work and try to get guys recruit together that's comfortable with that, because it's a last second thing that you just have to work enough to get guys in that comfort level of doing it. Really no good answer for it. It's just something you got to work on to try to get that corrected and get that comfort level during games.
Because if you do that, you're generally not going to get called for. You can get away with more contact if your head's turned.
Yeah, but it's a fine line with that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you have your head turning, you don't have the guy located, you don't track the ball, and they catch it, and they still running when they catch it. So it's like there's a lot go into it. You know what I mean? So it's something that we got to continue to work on and get better at, and we will do that and keep trying to progress in that area, because the number one thing, you got to be able to touch the ball down the field at the top of the route.
What does Jair need to do, Jair Brown need to do to see the field a lot? Obviously, I know you guys like to talk about, guys make their biggest improvement from year 1 to year 2. He played as a true freshman, but what does Jair need to do in your opinion?
Well, the same thing. It's just a growth step. Take what you did in your freshman year, and now we got to grow from it with that. Understanding the game, keep developing your body, how much technical sound you can get throughout the spring, getting stronger, all those things that go in, and now can you go apply it with the maturation process, and he's growing, he's in a good mental space. You just have to now continue to grow with that and put that into action.
So would you rather have just 2 guys lock down the job, or would you rather have a situation where maybe you're rotating 3 guys to do spots?
It doesn't matter, man. It's a good thing or bad thing. It can be either way. When you have 3 guys rotating, sometimes the depth is good. You know what I mean? Or it could be guys still need to come along, because the thing about it, you always have to prepare for the numbers, man. Out there the numbers get low sometimes. You get a guy that's out or get a guy that's dean, then you're short on numbers out there. You want to have the next guy with some experience and develop to try to be able to play and get put in situations that they may not be ready to get in. So you got the experience really helps when those moments come.
You talk about
I don't know if this is a fair question or not, but it seemed like things started to spiral in terms of health the moment Jordan went down, and it never really got right. Coming into the fall, just based on what you've seen from guys from the summer and the spring, how many game-ready guys did you feel like you had?
Well, it's hard. It's hard to tell that, because it's hard to be game ready in the spring. You know what I mean? Game ready is usually when you get in the game some. So, but the development and the preparation for it helps. And then, like you said, after the injury, it spiraled down. So guys were in and out a little bit. So that's why you need the numbers, because you need that so you can keep developing guys, because those are the things you got to control, the controllables. Sometimes you can't control, when guys are not available due to setbacks. So you have to have the next guy ready. So that's my job, to keep trying to develop these young men and try to get them ready. So when the numbers call, they can be ready to make a play.
Kind of to that point, is it an advantage to only have one locked-in starter, like you said with Denzel, to kind of know that you have to get everyone reps in this process?
Well, at a place like this, it's just a situation you're in, man. It's you want to develop guys in the spring, and you will see, but see, that's the level here of competition. So everybody have to compete. So you bring in guys to always kind of compete and elevate the room, and some guys may beat some guys out. That's a part of this thing too. That's the thing, that just because you was a starter a year ago doesn't mean it's going to be this year. Just because you was a backup this year doesn't mean you're going to stay in that role. Roles are always constantly changing. And that's on the development, the growth, and the accountability that we all have and do and the production. So that all will kind of evolve on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
I know you've been doing this for a while, but what did you think that you learned from year 1 to year 2 that you'll like to use moving forward, that first year into the second year?
Well, you can never have enough guys ready. You know what I mean? Like you gotta always be constantly having guys ready, because like you said, we had some, the numbers start changes on a little bit. So to get guys ready for different spots, for different sides of the ball, different positions, getting enough quality reps where guys could be healthy one minute and not the next. You just have to make sure that you have enough balance of getting guys that are ready to play or playing ready to go, but then the other guys enough to be ready when you thrust it in that moment. You got enough that you can go function in a game day environment.
How do you get ready too with the new season with Coach Knowles and being on the same page, getting better on that same page, and limiting those explosive plays that you all do?
Yeah, well, that's just on the growth process of being in the second year of the system. So that's going to be with the guys as coaches. We got another year together. The players are into the system now. So now some of the mistakes and things that showed up will get, minimized just because of the experience. You know what I mean? Because now those guys that you saw playing are not true freshmen anymore. They're not young guys anymore. They have 4, 5, 6 games under their belt that they can use as experience. So hopefully with that, the maturity, the growth process, the learning, the experience, it helps eliminate those things and it helps turn that into a positive aspect.
Does it also help you, Tim, to know who you can and can't put in situations? I mean,
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it just looked like some guys were uncomfortable at those last 2 games of the year, kind of like, in the spotlight, so to speak. Maybe, on a particular play or two.
Yeah, well, I think that's just part of football. You can kind of pull that up anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you watch the playoffs now in football, that's just part of it. But you just keep growing, you keep developing stuff, man, and you keep trying to put guys in many game day situations if you can so they can be as prepared at practice in the moment, so when the moment comes, they can try to function in it. It's not a never-ending process. It's always an ongoing process with that. So you just keep trying to tweak it, work it, and trying to find the right fit and right combination of guys that can kind of maximize and get what you want out of that.
When y'all bring in a guy, like y'all got a guy coming in, looks like, who's played, how do you watch that from your room standpoint to make sure the room doesn't get messed up, or are you just looking for competition?
Listen, we competing. We're not really looking for the room. The guys competing. We just, with anything, when you bring in, we had Jermaine, we got Calvin, we got guys. Guess what? There's going to be some more guys next year coming in. Guess what? In 2 more years, there's going to be some more guys coming in. That's just what it is. You try to bring the best guys in, and you try to bring guys in that are high character, great competitors, great work ethic, the love for the game, want to play at the highest level, and then it always sorts its way out. That's part of it, So you want to bring it in because you want guys that like the competition, and and you got to have guys ready. So that part always just sorts its way out over time.
Tim, do you have any kind of general philosophy about playing true freshmen at corner, and are there certain attributes that you're looking for to say, okay, you have to be able to do this if I'm going to put you on the field in year 1?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. I think it's all different from each situation. I mean, theoretically, you don't want to have to put a true freshman out there and do things, but some guys are ready for it. And if you're ready for it and you show that you have it in your competitive nature, you're physically ready, your mental state of mind, you have the maturity level, because some guys mature faster than others. If all those things fit, you understand the game, you have knowledge of the game that's a little more advanced, then you give that guy the opportunity. That's the right way to do it. Sometimes younger guys take a little longer to get that. So you just have to go on a case-by-case basis. Are you physically ready? Some guys will walk in and be 170 pounds. Some guys will walk in and be 190. All those things you have to put into play. Can they physically hold up? Mentally, can they apply the things to the game? Can they endure the long season? Can they fight through nicks and bruises? Can they compute the more complicated or more knowledgeable system than they had? There's a lot of factors that go in to try to get the product ready to be able to go perform on Saturday.
What did you the overall scholarship numbers of this position? I think last year you guys had about 6, and there were times where early on that came into effect when the guys were hurt and you had to really play depth. This year looks like you might have a little more. Just what you're feeling on the depth numbers? Yeah,
well, you always want to have the numbers. The numbers are what they are. Like you said, it always, you'll have it right by the end of spring, to be going to summer. But I think that, you always want as many numbers as you can on the back end, just because you do so much running, you do so, those guys play a pivotal part in things that's always happening in the back end, no matter where you're at, so you want enough numbers to be able to, because sometimes you have, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the field at one time and they're interchangeable some positions, so you want to make sure you just got enough But the numbers always take care of itself. You know, you'll long as when we get to camp and start up game day, we got the numbers right. We'll kind of go from there. Like nowadays, things just change a lot. So you want to have enough depth though that you can get the right guys ready for it, which I think we will.
Do you ever have like an ideal number in your mind? Like if there was like a perfect scenario?
Nah, because guys are interchangeable some too, man. You know what I mean? Barry talked about that stuff. We got guys that are interchangeable that we can do as we need. That's why the secondary works together. You don't always do it or say, but we you got moving parts that you can move if necessary with that to get the way you want it.
Tim, I'm sorry if somebody asked you about this already, but with the injuries that Jordan and Denzel had early on, they sort of lost August and periods throughout the year. How much did you think that impacted the development? I want to say setback, or that's up to you to evaluate.
Yeah, I mean it does. You get better by reps and playing time and practice time. You get better. So if you miss a lot of time, it'll stunt your growth a little bit. So then now we got to go back and try to escalate it. But it is what it is. You got to kind of deal with the situation and you got to go with it. And that's why you always got to have the next guy ready. The thing that we try to do is make sure they take care of their bodies, make sure they're, everybody's, and that's why you recruit. That's why you try to get the depth in the room and prepare guys, because some things you can't control and you got to deal with the uncontrollable. Like, you don't know, like going into the season next year, you don't know how many games a guy's going to play. You don't know if a nick or bruise is going to keep him out for a certain situation. So you just have to try to develop it all. It does set you back some when you're young, but you have to have the next guy up and then have to have those guys ready to fight back through it. And it is what it is. It's part of the game.
Yeah, it seemed like once Denzel, he was probably his healthiest Denzel for the Peach Bowl. And I think you can tell me, it seemed like that was also his best game of the year.
Yeah, he did a good job toward the end of the year. Started doing a little better. It was healthy. Obviously he had the stuff that he had to work through. But again, that's part of it, man. So that's a sport that we sign up for a little bit. We just got to try to manage and help navigate it.
Talk about Denzel kind of being the only locked-in starter, as you were talking about earlier. So supposedly locked-in starter, but
because I always like to phrase that right way. Sure, yeah. He's the returning starter. He's not a returning starter. Nothing locked in. There's nothing locked in. Like y'all take that. It ain't nothing locked in. Ain't nothing in life locked in. He's the guy that's the starter that's returning. So there's always competition. There's always things like that. And that's why we recruit here, man. We do it and we try to go. But he has the experience. He's been playing for a couple of years now, so he's the guy that has the most experience in the room. But you know how that is. You have to keep growing and building on that. You know what I mean? So,
talking about being the only returning starter, what kind of leadership do you want to see from him in terms of the younger guys, newer recruits this offseason?
I want to see big leadership for. Again, he's the guy that has the playing experience. He's the guy that's been around the longest. So you now have to lead the young dudes by example. And verbally, because you can't be quiet about things, so we just have to take the next step in that and grow, pull the young guys from the situations that you've experienced and been through, lead by example, lead verbally, help the young guys out so they can avoid some of the mistakes that you may have made, show them some things that they can do good or improve or tweak because of your experience. And hopefully we get that maturation process and help bringing the group around so the leadership part will be big.
Thank you, Coach Walton.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Coach.